Hello, I hope everybody's having a blessed one. Thank you very much for tuning to my channel. I hope everybody's doing well at work and with their families. And let's get started. So, the topic of my message today is our time is limited, so labor for God. So, we are just visiting the earth. Our time here is very limited. In Job chapter 34, verse 15, it says, "All flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again to dust." So, like very often, we are so caught up with a lot of these worldly things. We're caught up with our jobs. We're caught up with money. We're caught up with some desires that we forget about God, and we forget that our time here is very limited. Like, I personally just lost someone late last month. They were very young, and it just reminded me like of this message. And when I was reading, I was like, this would really be a good message, because like nobody knows their time. Like, when you're growing up and you're young, you think you have all the time in front of you, but our time is very limited. Death takes the old and death takes the young. So like Job is saying in Job chapter 34 verse 15, is saying that flesh shall perish and we shall be again dust. So let me talk about labor, which is vanity. In Galatians chapter 2 verse 11, it says, "Then I considered all that my hands had done, and the toil I had expended in doing it, and behold, all was vanity and striving after the wind, and therefore was nothing to be gained under the sun." In Galatians chapter 2, 18 through 26, it says, "Thus I hated the fruit of my labor, which I had labored on the sun, for I must leave it to the man who will come after me, and who knows whether he will be a wise man or a fool. Yet he will have control over all the fruit of my labor, for which I labored by acting wisely under the sun. This too is vanity." So like, especially us in like the African community, we come here to the US, we want to work. We want to build that house. That house that we're building, we may not even really, like, you finish the house, you may not really even live to enjoy that house, because your children are going to live in there. So oftentimes we spend our whole life laboring for things which are vanity. The money in this world is just vanity. The clothes, the shoes, the houses, they're all vanity. They're all really, really vanity. But spend your time doing good works. Doing good works for the Lord. Because like, there's a lot of things in this world are just really temporary. Like, oftentimes we need to sit back and think about what we're doing with our lives. Are we spending all our time partying? Are we spending all our time doing a lot of things that are not profitable, that are just vanity? So, labor for God. In this Galatians chapter 3 verse 17, it says, "I said to myself, God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked, for there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge every deed." In this Galatians chapter 3 verse 18 to 21, it says, "I also said to myself, as for humans, God tests them so that they may see that they are like the animals. Surely the fate of human beings is like that of the animals. The same fate awaits them both. As one dies, so dies the other. All have the same breath. Humans have no advantage over animals. Everything is meaningless. All go to the same place. All come from dust, and to dust all return. Who knows if the human spirit rises upward, and if the spirit of the animal goes down into the earth?" So like, God is gonna judge your deeds. He's gonna hold you accountable for how you lived your life. Were you righteous or were you wicked? So a lot of people they don't really realize like the implications that their deeds have. They really do not. Oh, because in this society, it's really just, sometimes it's just me. Like there's somebody that asks for your help and you know you're able to help them, but you still choose not to. So like when you look back in your life, were you too occupied doing wicked deeds? Were you too occupied laboring for vanity? Because at the end of the day, there's a judgment coming, and chapter 3 verse 17 is saying that there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. So people don't understand that our deeds are gonna be judged. It reminds me of that parable in the gospel where somebody was giving gifts and some multiplied and then the other did nothing with their gifts. They did absolutely nothing. So God has given you gifts and he expects you to labor for it. He expects you to labor and use your gifts. Maybe let's say maybe you have your gift of singing, then use that your voice to uplift others. Or maybe it's ministries, then use that your gift to help each other. Or maybe your gift is like you're really good at business, then use that gift to uplift your community. So we're all given gifts, and we should use that gifts to glorify God because our deeds are going to be judged. So in this Galatians chapter 5 verse 10 to 15, it says that he that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them. And what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes? The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. There is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt. But those riches perish by evil travail, and he begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand. As he came forth of his mother's womb, naked shall he return to go as he came, and shall take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. So like pretty much we came into this life with nothing, and we're going to leave with nothing. We're not even taking our clothes with us. We're not even taking that money. There are a lot of people who, you see, the rich, right? Some of them are so stressed out because they're trying to keep their wealth. They're trying to maintain their wealth. But those stuff are vanity. Money comes and money goes. It says the sleep of a laboring man is sweet. You see, when you're laboring for God, you're not going to stress about all those things. You see, I'll take peace of mind any day over riches. Because, like, even the rich, they don't even have peace. They're worried about keeping their wealth. They may become greedy with their wealth. They want to keep their wealth because they don't want to go back to being poor. But they don't understand that, like, all that silver and gold, it's just it's temporary. It reminds me of the saying, more money, more problems. Especially if you don't know how to manage your money, more money can create more problems. Your money can make you become very corrupt. It can make you greedy. You can make extravagant purchases. And when that money runs out, then you're left with a lot of bills. You're left with a lot of stress. So money itself can create problems. And it's saying that the abundance of the rich is not permitting him to sleep. Money can create problems and like make you lose. It can make people lose their peace because they're laboring for money. So in Galatians chapter 7 verse 13, it says, consider the work of God, for who can make that straight which he has made crooked? When you're working with God, God will bless you. God will lead you. God will supply you. God will enable you to continue doing the work. So labor for God. In Galatians chapter 9 verse 12, it says, for a man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of man snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. So like we don't know our time. It's just like I said earlier. Like I lost somebody late last month. The young are dying, the old are dying. It may be illness, it may be violence, but we don't know our time. So while we're here, let's labor for God. Let's seek God and seek His ways. Because our time here is very, very limited. Time is just a concept. Time just goes through. Time is nothing to God. It just goes through. And finally, in Galatians chapter 12, verse 13 to 14, it says, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil." So nothing is secret to God. God knows your deeds. God sees it all. So seek God and labor for Him. Because your words, your deeds, they'll all be judged. They all will be. And in Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 to 24, it says, "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ." So for with serving God, do it heartily. Seek God and know that you have your reward. You have your inheritance of the kingdom of everlasting life. So seeking God and laboring for God is very rewarding. But not just think about the reward. Do it heartily. Do it because your heart is set on God. Thank you very much. And I appreciate if you like and subscribe to my message and also share it. Thank you very much and have a blessed one.